In Flint, Michigan. Behind me is the People's Church, which I've been to before, and today is the 10-year anniversary of the beginning of the Flint water crisis. More specifically, when the city of Flint switched to the Flint River as its water source. And there are going to be events in Flint throughout the day. And right now we are covering a march that just started of residents and activists marching. They are beginning their march here at the People's Church, which again is a space in Flint where they have community gatherings, not just religious stuff, but social justice and other events. We'll actually be premiering our documentary, Flint Fatigue. That's what it's called, Flint Fatigue. We'll be premiering our documentary tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time at the People's Church. So if you're a Flint resident or live nearby, please come on down tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll be premiering it live at the People's Church. I'm really proud of the documentary, and I think it will show that this is still very much a crisis, not something from the past, but very much a crisis. There's so much to say about the Flint water crisis and cover-up, because to me, based on my reporting, this is the biggest government cover-up of the 21st century. As I've said for many years, the Flint water cover-up makes Watergate look like nothing, look like child's play. I actually have a book coming out this summer about the cover-up, which will expose a lot. But today is about the people. It's about the residents of Flint who are still 10 years later suffering. As you see, we have residents wearing hazmat suits, basically, with on their chest blood dripping to show the murder here that continues to go on, because contrary to what the EPA and the state of Michigan and the media claim, the water is still toxic here. I don't trust, based on my reporting, any numbers that the state of Michigan or the EPA put out. And 10 years later, they have not fully replaced all the damaged, corroded pipes here in Flint, Michigan, that were so badly damaged and corroded by the toxic water that went through those pipes for 18 months. And the water is still going through mostly damaged pipes. People might not know this, but with infrastructure, there's several different pipes that take your water from your city's water plant to your home. You have the main pipes that run underneath the street, and those main pipes then connect to a service line, and that service line is from your curb, wherever you live, your house or your apartment complex. The service line goes from the curb to the main valve that brings the water into your home. The only pipes they replaced here in Flint were the service lines, and 10 years later they have not even fully replaced the service lines. So if you think about it, basically the main pipes underneath the street were never replaced. They are breaking and busting all the time in Flint and are still damaged. They have not replaced the service lines. Still, they've only replaced about 90% of the service lines. And they never replaced residents' interior plumbing inside their home. So there is still water going through badly damaged, corroded pipes and leaching lead and other heavy metals. And there is still issues with bacteria in the water. So here in front of you, you see residents marching.
No more corporate lies.
Clear water. Clear skies. No more corporate lies. Clear water. Clear skies.
No more corporate lies.
Clear water. Clear skies.
No more corporate lies.
Clear water. No more corporate lies.
Water is water. Our right. Skies. Pollution. No more corporate lies.
Water is life. Our right. No pollution in sight. Water is life. Our right. No more pollution in sight. Water is life. Our right. No justice! No justice! No justice! I said no justice!
I said no justice. No peace. I said no justice. No peace. I said no justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
Okay, no justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
Water is a human right.
Water is a human right.
We deserve human life.
We deserve human life.
Water is a human right.
Water is a human right.
We deserve clean water.
And I just wanna show viewers to our right is the Flint River, and that is what today is all about. 10 years ago today, the city of Flint switched its water source to that river, which, if you live in Flint, you know, is one of the most polluted, contaminated rivers in America. General Motors, Dow Chemical, DuPont. We're going all the way back to the 1800s and the lumber mills. This is a badly polluted river, and they switched to that river using a water plant that essentially was so outdated and so dilapidated and so decrepit that essentially using that water plant to treat that river water is the equivalent of going on one of these Boeing 757s that keep falling apart mid-air. Using that water plant to treat that river water would be the equivalent of getting on a massive 757 flight that has 1.5 wings. The plant was not equipped. It did not have the proper equipment. It was missing key equipment to treat the water. It didn't even have the equipment to add corrosion control chemicals, which are crucial to prevent lead and other heavy metals from leaching off the pipes into the water. And we all know what happened as a result. Lead and a whole lot of other things. It wasn't just lead. Leached off the pipes into the water, caused brain damage to over 7,000 children who 10 years later are suffering, 10 years later have now learning disabilities, 10 years later a lot of kids still are acting out, 10 years later a lot of children, they were kids when this happened, are now teenagers, and tragically there is a surge of teenagers committing suicide in Flint because heavy metal poisoning alters your brain, damages your brain, not just your learning, but dramatically alters your mood, causes depression, causes anxiety, can affect and cause suicidal thoughts. And that has been happening here. 10 years later, this is still a crisis because not only is the water still dirty, there is a huge surge in cancer. Brain cancer, stomach cancer, and throat cancer in particular. There has been studies done showing that brain cancer, stomach cancer, and throat cancer are up 300 to 500% compared to before the Flint River switch. Let me show you what the residents are chanting.
We're too quiet! What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now. If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 What do we want?
Clean water.
And you know, this is I've been covering this in Flint for 8 years. This is my 21st time here. And I tell you that because I want you all to know, and I don't think this is too strong or dramatic to say, right now the term genocide is being used to describe what Israel is doing to the Palestinians in Gaza. And I believe that is 100% accurate, that a genocide is being perpetrated on Palestinians in Gaza, and it's shameful, and it needs to stop. But I truly believe that what has happened in Flint and continues to happen in Flint is a genocide. It's just a slower moving, more systematic and silent form of genocide, because the bodies aren't all piling up at once, and you don't see missiles or bombs or drones. These people are being genocided year after year after year because the government poisoned them and then covered it up and is leaving them to slowly die. So don't tell me we live in a democracy when Americans... Don't tell me we live in a democracy when Americans can be poisoned by their government. The government then covers it up because the media stops covering it and allows the government to cover it up. And the government then leaves the people they poisoned to slowly die. That is genocide. Please smash the like button, share this live stream. I know that there's a whole lot of other things going on in America right now. I know that there's real tensions at college campuses. I know that there's protests happening all over the country right now, and that's a big story. I know the genocide in Gaza continues, but we cannot forget what is still happening to the people in Flint. So please like this. Please share this. We keep coming back here because it's important that you know this isn't over. These people are still being poisoned. They have no Medicare for all. Not one politician has been held accountable. Not one politician is in jail for this.
Clean water is what we want.
Clean water is what we want.
Out of your buildings into the street.
Out of your buildings into the streets.
Clean water is what we want.
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 Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Out of the buildings into the streets.
Out of the building into the streets.
Out of your building, out of the buildings into the streets. Clean water is what we need.
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 Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Out of your buildings into the streets.
Out of the buildings into the streets.
Clean water is what we need.
Clean water is what we need.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Out of your buildings into the streets.
Out of your buildings into the streets.
Clean water is what we demand.
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 Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Out of your buildings into the streets.
Out of the buildings into the streets.
Clean water is what we demand.
Clean water is what we demand.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No water justice.
No peace.
No peace. No water justice. No peace. No water justice. No peace.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
And I can tell you from being here for many years, again, I've reported on this for 8 years. Sadly, there are so many that I personally know, and those I don't know, who would have been here if the water didn't kill them. There are so many water warriors in Flint who from the beginning of this, back in 2015 and 2016, were out there on the streets demanding justice, demanding clean water. Tony Palladino, Virginia Murphy, Clara Moore, Tony Cuevos, too many. Eric Mays, the councilman from Flint, who tragically died a few weeks ago, who became a TikTok star, ironically, in the final years of his life. There were so many water warriors who just bled Flint and fought for Flint and fought for justice. Even before the water crisis, a lot of these folks were out there doing activism on many different things. You know, before the water crisis, poverty is still such a problem here. But sadly, they're not here today because they have died of various illnesses that they just could not fight off because their immune system was destroyed by the water. I know people who have died for kidney failure. I know people who have died liver problems. I know people who have died of cancers here. I know people who have Parkinson's now with no family history. I know people who have seizures now, no family history. I know people who have serious memory loss and cognitive problems and crippling depression, crippling muscle pain, brain pain. I know people with ovarian cancer. I know people with all sorts of things. The list is too long. And sadly, you know, the devil's advocate could say, well, Jordan, you don't know if the water caused all those things. Anybody could get cancer. Well, when a city has a surge in cancer, with some cancers being up 300 to 500% compared to pre-2014, compared to before the water switch, you tell me, is that a coincidence? Is the city experiencing a surge in cancers due to the weather? Common sense would tell you it was the water, and we know lead. We also know Legionnaires, PFAS, which were in the water. Those are the forever chemicals that are found in water all over this country. That finally the EPA just put in a regulation. Unfortunately, it won't be implemented for 5 years in terms of limits to PFAS. But there were so many things in that water that cause cancer. And, you know, cancer is different for everyone. For some people, you could develop it 2 years after you were attacked by toxins. For others, it could come 5 years later. For others, it could come 10 years later. For others, 12, 15. This city, every time I come here, you find out about more and more people recently dying. And I'm not talking about, only elderly people. I'm talking about people in their 30s. I'm talking about people in their 40s. I'm talking about people 50s, 60s. That's why I call this a genocide. And it's shameful and disgusting that in this country, the United States media, the national media, the state media, the local media, simply stop covering it. I can't tell you how many times I obtained very, very, very newsworthy, important, in some cases scandalous information, documents, and I brought it to major media outlets, and they either didn't respond or came up with bullshit reasons not to do the story. And those that do cover Flint, it's typically only on the anniversary of the water crisis, which is today, April 25th. Again, today is the anniversary because April 25th, 2014 was the day that they switched to the Flint River. But by and large, the media just abandoned this. So similar to how there's mass shootings all the time and the media will cover it for, if you're lucky, 3 or 4 days. Similar when communities are poisoned, the media will cover it for a week if you're lucky. In Flint, they covered it for a week or two back in 2016. And then it's yesterday's news, back to covering Trump's tweets or Stormy Daniels, which they're covering right now because of the trial, or Russia, or other nonsense, while Americans are slowly dying and no one is being held accountable. That's possibly the biggest corrupt part of this, that American politicians could make decisions intentionally or unintentionally. In this case, intentionally. I have shown and I have reported over the years that politicians, Governor Rick Snyder, his administration, they knew the water was toxic and they covered it up and did not warn the residents. And none of them are in prison. And none of them have even faced a jury. And none of them will. Because this Attorney General, Dana Nessel of Michigan, for reasons we still don't know, but I think you will learn a lot more about that in my book this summer, basically sabotaged the investigation. And the criminal charges against Governor Snyder and 8 other state and city officials were dismissed by the Michigan State Supreme Court in 2022 and 2023 because the state Supreme Court ruled that Attorney General Nessel's office violated the state constitution in the way that they brought the charges using a one-man grand jury.
No peace! No justice!
No peace! No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
I said no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
What do we want?
Clean water!
And last year, in October 2023, the Attorney General Nessel announced the official end of the Flint water investigation. So, there you have it. All we hear about is democracy is at risk in America, right? Oh, Trump. If Trump gets elected, democracy is at stake. Well, how's this for democracy? These folks paid taxes. These folks obeyed the law. These folks tried to do good for the community. They were raising their kids, working, contributing to society. And in their, quote, democratic system, the state government literally took control of their city. Governor Snyder appointed an unelected emergency manager to take over Flint. He declared a financial emergency in Flint, and as such, appointed an emergency manager. That emergency manager, there were actually 4 of them, seized control over city government. So the mayor, the city council no longer had power. And they are the ones, the emergency managers appointed by the governor, were the ones that made the decisions that poisoned these residents. So if that's democracy, maybe we need to work on that. And how's it for a democracy if Americans can be poisoned by their own government and then 10 years later, not one person is held accountable? The water is still toxic. Their pipes have not been fully replaced. They do not have universal health care. Children do not have the full services they need for the brain damage that has been done to them. There's major problems with depression, anxiety, PTSD, mood disorders, suicide, and it's all been swept under the rug. If that's a democracy, it doesn't seem like a functioning democracy to me. And that's why I say, to me, this is still one of the biggest stories in America. But unfortunately, the way our media works in this country, they stop covering it, so people assume it's been fixed. Just yesterday, I was in East Palestine, Ohio, who's dealing with similar problems because a railroad literally chemically nuked the town 14 months ago. And I talked to some residents, and one of them said, I just stopped hearing about Flint, so I assumed it was fixed. How many Americans would say the same thing? That they just thought Flint was fixed because they never saw anything in the news about it anymore? How many could have said the same thing about Love Canal? How many could say the same thing about East Palestine 14 months later? The BP oil spill. I mean, the list goes on, and there's probably thousands of communities that have similar issues, whether it's water, whether it's air, whether it's the soil, that I've never heard about and you've never heard about because we don't have a media in this system. We have corporations buying the media. and then covering up what's actually happening rather than covering it.
No justice. No peace. I said no justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
So they're marching to City Hall in Flint. They're demanding clean water, which they still don't have 10 years later. You see signs that say water is a human right. You see signs that say Flint water crisis, 10 years and counting. Keyword, and counting, because it's still a crisis despite what the state of Michigan tells you, despite what the city of Flint government tells you, despite what the media tells you. And if you want to know how bad the media is, the Detroit News, there's very little shocks me anymore. But this morning I was truly stunned. The Detroit News, which is one of the biggest papers, one of the biggest media outlets in Michigan, I'll tell you about it in a minute.
Let your leadership set the pace and don't follow too close behind so we're not trampling each other.
So that gentleman in front holding the American flag, his name is Bruce Steers. He's in our documentary that we're premiering tonight in Flint at 8 o'clock. And he's been fighting for 10 years.
Shut it down. If we don't get it. Shut it down. If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
What do we want?
Clean water.
What do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it.
Shut it down.
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 No justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace. No justice. I said no justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
I said no justice.
No peace.
What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
what do we want?
Clean water.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we
And by the way, if you're wondering, I will be interviewing residents. I just don't want to
What do we want?
try to
When do we want it?
get on top of them while they're marching and chanting. But I will be talking to residents once we stop at City Hall, which I think we are almost there at City Hall. What I was saying is, this morning, somebody sent me a story from the Detroit News. Get this, the Detroit News, which is one of the biggest media outlets in Michigan, thought it would be a good idea on the decade anniversary of the poisoning of Flint to publish a opinion piece by none other than former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder. Let me repeat that. The Detroit News, on the 10-year anniversary of the Flint water crisis, published a piece, an opinion piece, from former Governor Rick Snyder, who presided over, and I believe, based on my reporting, helped cover up the fact that these residents were drinking toxic water. They published a piece by him pushing for permanent tax cuts for the wealthy on the 10-year anniversary of the poisoning of this city that he is largely responsible for. So that's the media system we have in this country, where one of Michigan's biggest outlets on the decade anniversary of this poisoning published an opinion piece about tax cuts from the guy who poisoned them. Honestly, you couldn't make it up. I don't even think, hey buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you. I don't even think the most creative filmmaker, the most creative producer could make up something that absurd. So let the Detroit News know what you think. I tweeted about it earlier. So they're approaching City Hall right now. Currently, the mayor in Flint is Sheldon Neely. Based on my reporting and what I know, he's pretty corrupt, and he claims that the water is safe in Flint, and it's a, quote, trust issue. The issue is not the water anymore, it's just trust. And the residents, we need to rebuild trust. That is not the case. The water is not safe. Basic engineering will tell you the water is not safe, because water cannot be safe if 10 years later, it is still traveling through damaged pipes. Do you think if this was a wealthier community, do you think maybe they would have replaced the pipes a little sooner than 10 years? If this happened in Ann Arbor, my strong suspicion is the pipes would have been replaced probably in 6 months, maybe a year. If this happened on the Upper East Side of New York City or the Upper West Side of New York City, probably would have the National Guard called in. And they got the music going, and they're approaching City Hall. Remember, please, please smash the like button, share this live stream so we can get this out to more people. Smash that like button, share this live stream, leave a super chat if you can. If you're not yet a Status Coup member, please sign up. We need your financial support to continue covering these stories on the ground. It is very expensive to cover stories like this on the ground and continue to covering these stories on the ground. Flights, hotels, rent-a-car, food, equipment, it all adds up. So please, please, please support us for as low as 16 cents a day. StatusCoup.com/join. StatusCoup.com/join. Join us for 16 cents a day. You could also donate. StatusCoup.com/donate. So right now, you got residents gathering around. I'm assuming they'll have some speeches, and then we'll talk to some folks. This gentleman right here is Bruce Steers, an actual American patriot, and he's been fighting for justice along with a lot of these folks out here for a decade. And he'll be speaking today, and he'll be featured in our documentary that we're premiering here in Flint tonight. Again, if you came to this late, if you're from Flint or you're nearby, please come on down to the People's Church at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll be premiering our documentary, Flint Fatigue, at the People's Church. If you can't make it out to the People's Church tonight, we will be premiering the documentary Sunday online for everybody at our website, flintfatigue.com, flintfatigue.com. And you might not see it because my cameraman is roaming, but right now we have signs, water is a human right. People holding signs, 10 years in Flint, water is still not safe. We have people wearing shirts, Flint water crisis, 10 years and counting. 10 years and counting, because this is still a crisis. You know, I think people kind of get numb to the word crisis because it's been used for so long that people forget that this is still very much a crisis. And I want to show you that 10 years and Flint water is still not safe. You got people wearing hazmat suits with Flint and a heart, a broken heart. You got people wearing hazmat suits with blood dripping down. For all the miscarriages. And that's for all the miscarriages. Women have had major reproductive issues, miscarriages, fertility issues. Okay. So they're about to give speeches. Please, I beg you, share this. We got to get this out to more people. I know that there's so many other stories going on right now, and everybody's focus is on the college campuses and the protests, and I'm not trying to take away from that, but we cannot forget about this city, Flint. That's why Status Coup keeps coming back, because we cannot allow the poisoning of Americans to be normalized. You cannot allow it to be normalized where the government poisons people and then covers it up and leaves them to slowly die. And that's what's going on here. And there's a lot of folks here I know. There's some folks here I don't know. But there's going to be people speaking. And right now they are in front of City Hall in Flint.
My name is Lashaya Darasol. First, we're going to start right here with a People's Church with Matthew. Pastor Matthew.
Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is the Reverend Matthew Hoke Smith, and I am the senior pastor of People's Church of Flint. And we are happy to be hosting this march, and we are happy to host this with this coalition for the past 10 years. And it is my honor to welcome us to here. And we also want to thank every one of our coalition sponsors that have been here. We thank the Defense Against Democracy, or the Democracy Defense League, Water Fighting for, People's Church, Michigan United, community-based organization partners, Black Lives Matter Flint, Flint Rising, Environmental Transformation Movement, and every one of you who are here today and who should be here today. And I wish we saw more churches out here today, because this is truly what sins look like. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Matthew. Next up, we're going to have Reverend Threlkill to come up here and bless us with his word.
God bless you.
Yeah, step up here.
All right. Let us bow. Precious Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this hour. We thank you for your Holy Ghost power. Woke us up this morning, started us on our way, and we just want to say thank you. Lord, you said in your word, if my people that are called by my name, if they would humble, pray, seek me while I may be found, and turn from their wicked ways, you then will hear from heaven and heal the land. We need healing here in Flint, Michigan. We need healing in our nation. We need healing all around. We need hearts to be changed. This mayor of this city, the elected officials throughout the land need a changed heart, that they may become more concerned about the people. It's for the people, that's what's needed here. We pray, mighty, that you continue blessing these people that organize and on the battlefield to make this thing get right. And all these blessings we ask. In Jesus' name we pray. And all the church said, amen.
Amen. Next up, we have been asked to play a song called The City of Lead by Ira Dorsey. Does somebody have that? Skip that? Okay. So again, my name is Lashaya Darasol. I am the Policy Advocacy Director at MAID Institute. We have been doing this for 10 years along with the Democracy Defense League and Claire McClinton. And we have a list of demands. But before we go into what those demands are, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a new demand that we have added this year. My brothers and my sisters, my comrades in the struggle. Today we stand in this pivotal moment of history, a history that has been marked by struggle, by resilience, and by the undying spirit of a community that refuses to be silenced. Today we gather not just as individuals, but as a collective, as you can see, a collective force for change and guardians of justice, and as advocates for a future where basic necessity of clean water is no longer just a luxury, but a fundamental right. Today marks a milestone in our journey. For 10 long years, we stood shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, fighting for justice in the face of adversity. And today, as we commemorate this decade of resilience, we add a new demand to our chorus of voices, a demand born out of necessity, born out of survival, and born out of the love for our community and those like ours. For too long, we have bore witness to the exploitation of our resources, the degradation of our environments, and the marginalization of our people. And for too long, we have seen our water, our most precious resource, fall victim to the insatiable greed of those who will seek to profit at our expense. But today, my friends, today we say no more. Today we stand united in our resolve to prohibit the sale of our water assets to private investors and businesses. Come on, y'all. Did y'all hear what I just said? Today we stand united in our resolve to prohibit the sale of our water assets to private investors and businesses. For we know that our water is not just a commodity to be bought and sold, but a sacred lifeline that sustains us, nourishes us, and connects us to our ancestors and to each and every one of us. We will not stand idly by as it is plundered for profit. But our fight is not just about protecting what is ours. It's about building a future where water is a right, not a privilege. It's about reclaiming our power, our autonomy, and our dignity in face of those who would seek to exploit us. It's about standing in solidarity with communities across the world who are facing similar struggles, who are rising up and demanding justice in the face of adversity. My friends, the road ahead will not be easy. We will face obstacles. We will face resistance, but we will not falter. For we carry within us the spirit of Flint, a spirit that has been forged in the fires of adversity, a spirit that knows no bounds, a spirit that will carry us through even the darkest times. And so on this 10th year of this struggle, let us stand firm in our conviction that another world is possible. A world where our water is clean. A world where our communities are thriving. And our voices are heard. A world where Black Lives Matter, where environmental justice is a reality. And where dignity and humanity of all people are respected. Let us raise our voices in solidarity. And let us demand nothing less than the future that we all deserve. A future where water is not a commodity but a common good that belongs to us all. Together, my friends, we have the power to make this future a reality. Let us seize it with both hands, and let us never waver in a commitment to justice, to equality, and to the preservation of our most sacred resource, water. So let us march forward together, my friends, with love in our hearts, fire in our souls, and justice on our side. For the journey ahead may be long, but we will walk it together, hand in hand, until victory is ours. I am going to have, where's Claire? Miss Claire. Can you read the demand? No? Okay. Can you hand me my phone? Who got it? That's not my phone. Okay.
And this is Claire McClinton. She's one of the most active, consistent water warriors in Flint and has been fighting for 10 years.
We want the culprits and the players to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law for the harm they've caused our city, the deaths they ignored, the long-term illnesses in which we still live with, the indignity that your government poison you and your government won't fix it. It's indignity, attack on humanity, the highest water rates in the nation. We can't deal with that no more. So we're going to all have to ratchet up our game. We're going to have to ratchet up our unity. We're going to have to be Flint. We're going to have to be Flintstones. We are Flintstones. We have big hearts. We have courage. We have a strong sense of social justice. We made history around the world in 1937 when the UAW was recognized. We made history in 1968 when the Fair Housing Act was passed. We made history. We were the first largest city of its size to get an African American mayor. We did that, Flint. We got some greatness in us, and now that they put the final nail in the coffin last December, Merry Christmas, charges drop. We're not going to stand for that. So I appreciate each and every one of you being here. You are the right people to be here. You got a strong sense of consciousness and awareness, and I thank each and every one of you. And please, let's stay in connection. Let's stay in touch. Let's move this struggle forward to save our city. Thank you.
Come on now. Come on now, Miss Claire. Thank you. Baby human, where you going? Y'all, I got my baby up here. I bring my kids to every march that I go to because it is imperative that they know that they too can do this. And Miss Claire says something all the time, that this is a multi-generational, multiracial, multi-faith movement. And so next up, we're going to have a reading of a letter, something that is close to my heart. And it is a letter from the women of Gaza that was sent to us in 2016. And because of all that is going on in the world, we want to share that letter.
Wait a minute. Is she here?
Her name. You want me to just pull it up and read it myself?
Oh, she's here.
Okay, Miss Lucy. Can you pronounce your last name?
Lucine Jara.
Lucine Jara.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Lucine Jara, and I have the incredible honor of serving as the Executive Director of the Arab American Heritage Council, a 43-year-old local nonprofit based here in Flint. I want to start with a thank you to the organizers and partners for inviting us to be here to march and to speak to you all at this 10-year commemoration of the Flint water crisis. As we stand here today and listen to the speeches of my fellow community members and leaders, we're reminded not only of the challenges of our own community that our own community has faced and continues to face as a result of long-standing government neglect and disinvestment, but we also stand with a call to action to broaden our solidarity efforts beyond local confines and to stand alongside those globally fighting for their rights and liberation. A decade ago, the revelation of lead contamination in our city's water supply shook foundations, exposing the systemic inequality and racism that is rampant within our institutions. As we reflect on this, we are also reminded of how these forces contribute and exacerbate the issue of water insecurity on a global scale. The injustice of denied access to clean and safe water persists in places like Gaza, where millions endure the daily struggle for basic necessities, including water that meets minimum health standards, and where more than 90% of the drinking water is undrinkable. When we examine the parallels between Flint and Gaza beyond the water crises, they reveal a shared struggle for justice, self-determination, and liberation. When Flint City Council passed the ceasefire resolution in January, it was not just a gesture of support, but a recognition of how our unified struggles and our movements, whether they are local or national, are interconnected. Both in Flint and Gaza, the ultimate crisis is a crisis of gross injustice by occupying powers and a lack of accountability. Now more than ever, it is crucial that we come together in this way as one community, united in our commitment to justice and liberation for all. From Palestine to Flint, we will continue to use our collective power to amplify our voices across borders and boundaries, to advocate for each other, to stand in solidarity with each other, and to confront and dismantle the systems of oppression that have plagued our communities for far too long. I want to end my remarks with a letter written by the Mecca staff in Gaza on International Women's Day in 2016 that was addressed to the women of Flint. Dearest woman in Flint, on International Day, we, the Palestinian women living under Israeli occupation, announce our solidarity and extend our compassion to you. We understand what you are going through because we face similar hardships in Gaza. Access to clean and healthy water is a basic right, according to international law and agreements, but many people are still fighting to achieve this right. For example, we are living in the Gaza Strip and are suffering a lot and struggling to get clean and healthy water. The Israeli occupation steals our water from the aquifers, controls our water resources, and does not allow us to access the clean water in the West Bank or to build water treatment facilities. Seawater, wastewater, and other pollutants contaminate our water, leading to sickness and death. This forces us to choose to buy clean water at unaffordable prices or to provide other basic necessities for our families. We know you face these impossible choices too. In Gaza, we survived 3 brutal wars in 6 years, and we have lived more than 10 years under harsh economic conditions as a result of the Israeli siege imposed on the Gaza Strip. The poverty and unemployment reached unbelievable levels. Because what we have been through, we know and we understand what you are going through. It is sad, it is tough. Disease is spreading among our children because of the polluted water in Gaza and Flint. We know what you are going through. We understand your sadness and helplessness, and we want you to know that you are not alone. We are standing with you until all of us overcome this crisis and access our right as humans to clean water for ourselves, our families, and our communities. We are standing with you as we struggle to hold governments and private companies accountable for poisoning our children. Our hearts and full compassion are with you, signed by mothers, activists, students, workers, and leaders in the Palestinian community and Gaza. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are all united by water. Everywhere across this country, we are an oceanic planet. Next up, we are going to have again, a young voice coming up here because, again, this is a multi-generational, multiracial, and multi-faith. Miss Michaela Terry.
Hi, my name is Michaela Terry.
Hey, Michaela. Real close to your mouth. Hey, Michaela. Say it with your chest.
Come on, baby. Hi, my name is Michaela Terry, and I've been walking since the first march in Lansing, and I walk outside my granny when I used to ride in my stroller. And
what did you used to say? What did we want?
Clean water.
When we want it?
Now.
All right, say it again. What do we want?
Clean water.
When we want it?
Now.
Said it louder than that when you was 2. Okay.
And
what have you lost in this water?
The water has affected my family very hard. I watched my brother get sick a couple times, and yeah.
So what about what else?
You're doing good. Take your time.
My animals, they died. A couple of my dogs died of the water, and yeah.
You still have. Are we getting better?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
What do you want?
Clean water.
And what else?
When do you want it?
Now.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Michaela.
That's all right.
It's important, again, I think it is detrimental. It is instrumental, I should say, that we bring all people here. All voices should matter. It does not matter how old you are. Next up, we're going to have Jolena. Jolena. Where is Jolena?
And Jolena.
We are going to have Bishop Jefferson to address the emergency manager law.
All right.
And Bishop Jefferson.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Bishop Jefferson will be in our documentary that we're premiering tonight at 8 o'clock
We're here to
at the
talk
People's
about
Church.
The emergency manager and what it has done to us, not only in Flint, but in Michigan. I think we are the one of the hardest hits. Here we are, 10 years later. We ain't celebrating nothing. We not celebrating nothing. We commemorating. We are dressing. Where my grandbaby with that sign? Michaela, bring me that sign. Because we taking back our power and our authority. They took our word. They took our voice. They took our speech. But we taking it back. We will not be silent anymore. We're not going to be quiet. Taking back our power. It belongs to us. This is our city hall. This is our city. This is our state. They came up with a law. Public Act 4. To put one person in charge. That's called dictatorship to me. And we are not a communist city, state, or country. Come on. But we have democracy. And because we have democracy, we taking back our power. We're going to use our voice. We're going to use our vote to make a difference, to bring change. Come on, we're going to put somebody in the office that's going to speak for us. For us. That's going to have a voice for us. That's going to stand up for us. That ain't going to take a back seat to the powers that be. Or take any money under the table. You know, they got so bold, Elizabeth, till they take it on top of the table now. In our faces. And say, take that. We're not taking it anymore. From city council, from the mayor, from the governor, from the state representative, county commissioner, wherever it is. If you're not going to speak for us, move for us, work for us, act for us, bring healing to us, bring deliverance to us, make us whole again, release the money, repair our houses. Come on. Elizabeth said it for me. But we got to. And you know where it starts? With us. Look at your neighbor and say it starts with you. So if it starts with you and they point at you, it starts with us. We got to work together. No man is an island. But together, come on, say together, we bring change. Together, we will make a difference. Together, we going to fight. And we going to raise our voice. And we going to use our vote. And little Miss Flint is here. Come on, baby. Come on, she's done from the beginning, she has done an awesome work. I'll let her tell it. If she don't tell the whole story, I'll be back.
I'm sorry.
Come on, let's give her a hand praise.
I interviewed this young lady, little Miss Flint, when she was a little kid. And now she's a teenager.
Okay. Wait, what's right there? Right here? Right there. Okay, so hi, my name is Mari Kopity, aka Little Miss Flint, even though I'm not so little anymore. Okay, I'm gonna start now. Oh, okay. 10 years ago, the flip of a switch to save a few dollars changed the lives of everyone in our community, and it's been a literal roller coaster ride for everyone in this city ever since.
Yes.
I was 6 years old when they changed the water. Almost immediately at my house, we started getting rashes. My little sister's rashes resembled chemical burns. To this day, you can still see the remnants of an eczema patch on my face that will not go away no matter what we do. The water just didn't taste or smell right. All around the city, people could see with their own eyes that the water was bad. I was 8 when the lie that the water was safe was finally exposed. And like everyone else in the community, we had to learn almost overnight what life was like without access to safe drinking water. But I don't need to go into details about what life was like during the crisis. That has been well documented. When faced with a crisis, something amazing happened here. The people of Flint worked together to make sure that their family and neighbors had bottled water. Not only did we work together to ensure we had the resources we needed to survive, we organized time and time and tried to hold those in charge accountable for the atrocities they put Flint through. We know the service lines are being changed, but we also know the city moved so slow on these changes. They were held in contempt. They were held in contempt of court. We know that Flint still needs significant infrastructure upgrades. People still need the pipes in their houses fixed from all the damage that the toxic water caused. There is no reason 10 years after one of the worst man-made water crises in America that Flint residents should still be paying the highest rates for water in the country. There is no reason it should have taken 9 years to finally get a cancer study here, when clearly there are many health issues related to the water. There is no reason that there was an entire class action lawsuit, but not a single dime has been paid to the residents here, but the lawyers already got their check. There is no reason that not a single elected official responsible for what happened here has been held accountable for their actions. Every single charge that was dropped was a slap in the face to everyone in this city. We have an entire generation of kids here that don't know what it's like to live with clean, safe water. Kids that are not only dealing with the physical effects of the water, but also dealing with the psychological effects. The people of Flint deserve so much better. We deserve to have elected officials that behave like they work for the people who elected them. We deserve to have elected officials that behave like they work for the people who elected them. Instead, our leaders act like oversized toddlers throwing constant temper tantrums and attack each other in their constituents. I gotta say that again. Instead, our leaders act like oversized toddlers throwing constant temper tantrums and attack each other and their constituents. We have been failed repeatedly by all levels of government. To the elected officials, to the elected leaders, stop playing in our faces, do your job. Flint was on track for being the blueprint of the blueprint of how to handle a water crisis. But the only thing that serves as the blueprint for the others now is how our community came together to save ourselves. As far as the way public officials and leaders go, the way you guys behave here serves as a cautionary tale to everyone of how not to act when faced with a crisis.
That's true.
10 years later, and it breaks my heart to say, the water crisis is still not over, and I have no idea if it will ever be over, like when it will be over.
So that's Mary Copany, aka Little Miss Flint. I believe I interviewed her when she was 8 years old. She's now 16, which shows you how long this disaster has unfolded.
Doing this work. And it's a testament.
She has helped to raise millions of dollars to get bottled water here.
In this world, and it's so important that these kids have a voice as well. Next up, we are going to have Christine. Miss Christine.
This is Christina Saya, and she will be in our documentary tonight.
Hi, everybody. Remember me? I was Murphy a long time ago. So, when this water crisis started 10 years ago, I was pregnant. We had 5 kids at the time together, my 2 stepsons and my 3 kids, 3 dogs. I remember that day when he came home, my ex-husband came home and he said, and he grabbed the cup out of my hand and he's like, "Oh my gosh, stop drinking the water." And he worked at Flint Truck and Bus. And they found out before the people. So they're not even going to tell the people that the water's bad. And they're just going to let the pregnant, I was pregnant, all these pregnant mothers, this is what this outfit is about. They're going to let everybody drink the water. Who cares that it's warping the engine parts? Then still 10 years later, not any pipes have been changed except for one down a College Town Street. And they didn't even do it right. They did it backwards, and then they had to bring it back up and do it again. But Benton Harbor just had their water all bad, and they're already better, I hear. Lansing had their water changed in 2 years when Governor Granholm was in office. And how many babies and children have to get sick, and grandmothers dying at 60 and 70 years old instead of living till 80 and 90, and not talking about proper ways to treat heavy metal poisoning, hiding things from the people, not giving proper filters. Those filters don't work for your entire house. You need a whole house water filtration system. By the way, I am not entitled, but for some reason, when Adam, my ex, got in Richard Baird's face and we had that meeting at our house, and Adam was the only one that got chelation treatment paid for by the government. And then also the government changed the pipes in my house. So why don't they change the pipes in everybody's house? Why am I the only, there's a few of us that I heard got their pipes changed just because we were talking loud, trying to pay us off and shut us up.
It's a payoff.
Yeah, so I'm not shutting up. I just took it because I needed it. Anybody would. I didn't have the money to change my pipes. But the lead abatement program of Genesee County changed my pipes. So why aren't they changing yours? And why aren't they doing more for this? Why don't we have water again? Because people have been getting their water tested, and it's still 250 parts per billion in some people's houses. So as a mother, I just want to go here real quick. Every day I worry, even though my kids have had some treatment, of what new ailment might show up. My one oldest daughter, she worries about, dying a lot. That's not a normal worry for an 18-year-old. And then my middle daughter has memory loss and hasn't been diagnosed officially yet, could have adolescent dementia. And you know what that does. So just look it up, what the adolescent dementia does. And then my son, he was born with a translucent butt. It was translucent. You could see through his skin and see his muscle tissue. And the doctors didn't even do anything about it. They just handed me my baby and they didn't want to deal with it. The nurse gave me my blood and said, "You better keep this in your freezer at home," because the doctors are laughing in the hallway, saying, how that lady's from Flint, she thinks they're poison, how they all treat us. They got Flint fatigue, as Jordan has so well put it. And I'm sick of that people have Flint fatigue because we're not better yet. I'm sorry you have Flint fatigue, but it's not going to stop us from screaming our heads off and helping other cities and connecting with each other and coming together to fight what is going on. This has to stop. You can't keep murdering us out here no more. You're gonna stop one way or another, so you're gonna have a lot of people really upset, more than we are right now, and they're gonna just stop you. But unity, communication, staying together, checking on our elders, all that stuff we need to do if you feel up to it. I'm feeling better. I had a stroke. I had a thyroid storm. And another thing happened, but I don't remember what it was called, so I almost died 3 times in the last 5 years. But now, my health is almost back to better. Y'all know I got chelation treatment. I had to pay for it myself. Adam's the only one that got it for free. And everybody should have it for free.
That's right. That's right.
And chelation treatment is where it takes it out of your bones and organs where it's hiding, by the way. Just because you have a 1 or 2 in your blood doesn't mean that you don't have a 30 in your bones and organs. My son went from a 28.8 and then had treatment, and then 11.7, and then had more treatment, and now he's down to a 4.6. My middle daughter, the one with the dementia, not quite diagnosed yet. We're trying to fix it before it actually happens, hopefully. She's got a non-detect after a year and a half of taking a couple pills a weekend. So just keep one foot in the front of the other, moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and kids. Every step forward is a good day. You don't have to take 20 steps forward. 1 step forward a day to pace yourself, and sometimes I say a minute at a time. We have been through so much and traumatized as a people. But the silver lining about this is that I've never felt so much love from these people here. God bless y'all, and I'll let the next person have their spew.
So again, we're in front of City Hall in Flint. It is the 10-year anniversary of the day that they switched the city to the Flint River, which began poisoning the residents.
Is not over yet. Tonight at 6 p.m. we'll be at local 659 from 6 to 8. We're going to have testimonies from those from other states and other cities. Because and they're here. There's some here today from Detroit. That are 3 Rivers, Detroit, Benton Harbor. We're not the only one. That's why I said we one of the ones. We just was hit the hardest. And so we want you to show up tonight from 6 to 8 at local 659. Tomorrow, we'll be back at the People's Church at 6 p.m.
Yes. 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m.
Yes, 6 to 8.
Come on, Pastor.
So tomorrow we invite you to join us back at People's Church of Flint, where we have a healing service and a vigil where people have an opportunity to speak their experience and honor and uplift the ones who have struggled during this time. We invite you to bring pictures of your loved ones or artifacts of your loved ones so that we can, in community, join and uplift in this moment. So that's tomorrow at 6 p.m. at People's Church of Flint.
Address?
503 Garland Ave.
Thank you. And then Saturday, we will close out at 1 at the Gloria Closed Flint Public Library. From 1 to 4, we will have a resource fair. Also, we will have attorneys there. You want to know what happened and where your money is? Where they stand, where they going, what they doing? Come to the Flint Public Library, the Gloria Closed Library, on Saturday. On Saturday. And we, from 1 to 4. 1 to 4, we have it constantly going. Also, we'll have a resource fair to let you know what resources are in our community, what's available for you, where we are right now. Take advantage. Tell somebody. Bring somebody. I think about Eric today. And he would be here. And after we close out, we're going to close out with a prayer. I can just see Eric kneeling on his knees. Rain, snow, sleet, or hell, Eric's going to kneel on his knees. At the White House, at the Capitol building, he was going, thank you. Thank you. He would be here. And so we're going to close out with a prayer. I know there's some more clergy here. I don't want to be the only one. There's more clergy here. Huh? Oh, okay. Okay. And so I see some of the attorneys coming up. So they're going to be there on Saturday. Okay. And so we're going to have public speaking now?
So that concludes our program. So what we're going to do now is have an open mic so that the candidates and the politicians that want to speak and anybody else, the community, so anybody else that wants to speak can come out and speak. And we're going to pass the mic.
Yeah, pass the mic.
Here, Bruce.
Let me just thank everybody. A little patience. You've been so good. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your presence here today. My name is Bruce Steers. I've been an advocate in the city of Flint since '97, and it's all been about water. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Today we gather together in Flint, Michigan as a living symbol, unified citizens in the same noble cause as cultural icon forged in the fire of adversity, hardship, and misfortune. The same noble causes that unite us as a nation in preserving our unique national identity. We as citizens of Flint proudly stand as a living symbol, united in the beliefs that all share the unalienable rights of life, liberty. The pursuit of happiness includes safe drinking water. Thank you all, and God bless you.
So that is Bruce Steers. He will be featured in our documentary tonight.
We're Democratic candidate for the United States Senate here in Michigan. I'm here to be in support of this commemoration, and I will be putting out an op-ed of demands and actions based off the court special report that reported that there's $46 million of accrued interest from the unpaid and unjustly unheld water settlement. It's a shame. And each day here in Flint, folks are marred by the silent devastation of profound stress endured by residents and uncertainty and fear as they watched loved ones become sick. We understand that if we are going to get the resources back, number one, we have to start electing elected officials that will actually fight to bring resources back to the community. My father was a psychiatrist, and he used to tell me the definition of insanity was continuing to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Why do we keep electing the same type of people over and over and over again, expecting a different result? With that, I promise that I will fight with you, I will fight for you, and not just go to Washington. I want you to go to Washington with me. I believe Flint should have a seat at a U.S. Senator's table.
There you go. There you go.
Where hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars can come back to the community and be used by individuals here.
That's right.
Decisions not being made in D.C., but right here in Flint.
That's right.
So thank you. Continue the fight. When we fight together, we win together.
That's right. Thank you, dear. Anybody else? Come on, Barb. Yes.
I too thank you all for coming out today for more than one reason. I have been fighting with these groups since 14, and we did bring Eric here with us. If Eric was here, you would hear his voice all over Flint, I'm sure. We have pictures up here of Eric, and thank you, sister. And I sure brought him with me on my body, on my back. This water crisis has become just too much. And it's not just the water crisis, it's the administration as well. So many people have so many complaints that somebody need to look into this, and we all need to stick together. I took off of work today to come here because I feel like this is very, very extremely important. We see babies out there, and what about them? Not just me as being an elder, but my life is in jeopardy as well because I am elder. But these babies, what about them? This water crisis thing is too much. So I appreciate you giving us the attention that you need. I appreciate Claire. I appreciate everybody for coming. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Yolanda Figueroa, and I am from Flint, Michigan. I was born in Flint, Michigan. I am proud of Flint, Michigan, and I thank the people that have fought for us. I thank you for Eric Mays because he was bold enough to say and speak for the people. That's who we want. We want people who are fighting for us, not fighting each other like they are in the White House. That's why all these things are happening. We had good leaders, it wouldn't be like this. And most of all, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and we need to get back to God. If you don't know him, we all came from him. So if we start praying and coming together, we're one nation under God. We're United States of America. So please let us not forget that. He made us all, and we have to come together, black, white, whatever color we are. It's not about that. It's about safe water. It's about life. So we need to come together. Remember those that went before us, that fought for us. They brought us together, not separated. There's people in office that have tried to separate us. We have to come together. That's life. So let us please do that and stop fighting each other.
Hello, hello, hello. This is George F. Grundy II. And I'm born and raised, drank the water. I went to the Marine Corps 2008, came back 2012, and moved back to Flint 2014. You can turn it around. It's pointing outwards. Yeah, that way. Okay, you see. So I founded an organization called Veterans of Now here in the city of Flint, primary to assist and help veterans. But it was during the water crisis, so the organization, by way of that, ended up servicing over 10,000 residents, well over 10,000 residents and hundreds of veterans. At that particular time, there were many, many veterans that wanted to take action, not just talk, but put boots in faces because of what was going on. And I'm still of that energy. Because 10 years is way too long to not get anything, to not do it. Nobody's been prosecuted. No, nothing has happened. What is it that we plan on getting by keep on talking, marching, and just talking and marching? What? So whenever anybody's ready to do beyond just talking, I'm for all that. And I'm saying it live in front of everybody, in front of the mirrors and everybody, because you're poisonous. 10 times worse than toxic waste? What kind of stuff is that? When do you fight? When do you actually put hands to the pavement and get stuff done? Why are we still marching? What kind of stuff is that? So that's just me. That's my energy. And whatever those actions equate to, I'm willing.
Hi, my name's Tiara Darasol. And in case everybody's wondering, when the Flint water crisis started, I was in 3rd grade. I am now almost done with my 1st semester of college. 10 years is entirely too long. My little sister has never seen clean water in Flint. She's only 5. She's never seen it. It's always been poisoned her whole life. I don't think this is okay. I took off school to be here because I find this to be a very extremely huge issue. It is no reason why we are still fighting and fighting for clean water. People have died, people have lost their kids, rashes, eczema, bone marrow testing, cancer, all because to save a few bucks to switch the water. I don't think that's right. That's why I'm here today. And we gonna continue to fight until we get clean water. It is no longer a ask. It is a demand. It is a necessary need. It is a human right. It isn't something that we just want. It is a human right and necessity. Thank you.
See a lot of people who were young children and now adults. This has gone on for 10 years.
I represent as an ambassador for National Clean Water Collective. And on behalf of that, I want to say that I believe we need everybody from Flint that's affected by this water crisis need home filtration systems. We all need it. We can keep talking about clean water, but we got to go abroad and see what's going on worldwide as far as water. Now I want to say about a healthier way to go. I'm the CEO of A Healthier Way to Go. And there's always a solution other than what we're used to. There's a scientist coming from California, May 11th at the library from 10 to 1. And he's going to talk about a solution that help mitigate toxic metals, lead, and other contaminants. So you're all welcome, and there will be flyers on Saturday. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You guys put that in there, girl. Look at this, girl.
So my name is Elizabeth Taylor. I'm 80 years old, 81 this year. Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Taylor. I'm going to be 81 years old this year. And I ended my cancer treatment almost a year next month. And I think it's water related. It's it's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that's a blood related cancer. Flint needs research on cancer. Flint needs politicians that are for the people, not taking our money, not raising our water rates. I don't even use the water in my house except to flush the toilet. And I mean, it's ridiculous what we have to pay, and they're talking about charging us more. These politicians that are behind us, that are not here with us, says a lot. Yep. Says a lot. And I think we're going to have to do it. We've been doing it for 10 years, and we'll keep on doing it. And I want to say thank you to everybody that did show up, because it's what we do as a community. Thank you for being here.
Hello, I'm Claudia Perkins, one of the original water warriors who helped put this shindig on. I just want to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of what we've been going through. I'm sick and tired of the seniors being misused in this deal, because when they stop those water pods and close them up, I've been delivering on my own to amputees and elderly. It's ridiculous. And the politicians, like Hill said, they keep on asking for your support, and you keep putting them in. What's wrong with you? Wake up. It's time. If you keep doing the same thing you've always done, you're going to get the same results you've always got. You've got to change something. That's where I'm at. Get smart. Change something. The ones that are in here, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you see repeatedly that they don't. What does that make you? And not smart. That's all I'm going to say right now. I got more to say with the other days that we're going to, because I'm over the vision. So please come and support who supports you. That's all I got for right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alton McIntyre. I'm from Detroit. Detroit People Water Board. We was in Flint years ago. I just came to Flint. I came to Flint to visit. Never been to Flint. But I had to come to Flint this time with Detroit Water Board Coalition, because we've been in this fight and this struggle so long. And we want to help you guys out, because we will not stand for it in Detroit. We have one of the worst water boards ever. People paying high water bills. I'm going back now to fight for my grandkids and great-grandkids. That they will have clean and affordable water. I want Flint to have clean and affordable water. Rick Snyder should never be free. He should be in jail now. All the lives that you cost us. all the people that died in Flint. How is it possible that you're still a free man? Everybody in your cabinet should have been locked up. This is wrong. I talked to people in Benton Harbor that has been through this. We're right now with the legislator, have bills before the Senate and the House. We must pass these bills. Don't vote them in. If they're not standing for us, don't vote them in office no more.
That's right.
Hold on one second. I want him to tell everybody what we got, the resources we got at the table. Come here. Come here.
Go.
And tell everybody. Keep telling everybody the resources they got over there.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Cyrus Parker. I'm the lead public health navigator for the city of Flint underneath the mayor's office. I knew everybody was coming out today, marching on down. So I got my public health navigators right over here. They are sitting there. They have resources available for all of the residents. We have different pamphlets. When you're talking to the public health navigators, so the best that I can do for you guys, for me personally, we have water filters available for everybody, water filters, water pitchers, we have pamphlets, we have learning organizations and everybody that we're partnering with out to help you guys. I decided to have that set up for you guys personally, something that I decided to do, something that of my power. Me being a lead over the public health office, I decided to get all our pamphlets, our reading, everything that we can give you guys. So that's what I can do for you guys, so we do have that available. I can't give you all new pipes, I can give you all water filters, I can give you all resources. That's what I can do. Okay? Amen.
Thank you, young man.
Thank you. I'm on. We still giving out free filters. We do offer deliveries. We deliver to people that cannot make it downtown. We also have an office on Claire Road where you guys can pick up water filters and everything also. The Office of Public Health. You know, I take advantage of the resources that we do have available.
Can I,
Now a new danger.
I think some other folks are going to be saying something. And then I'm going to try to talk to some folks.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, JoJo. Turn that mic on and say something to the
Hello, hello, hello.
What do you got now?
So, this is Jolena Freeman.
Hi, everybody.
She's in our documentary.
My name is Jolena Freeman. Most everybody calls me JoJo. And I'm a Flint resident. And my kids have grown up in Flint here. And they have all been affected by this water that's still not safe to drink. And it's caused a lot of strife in our family. And just like probably everybody else here. And, you know, I have kids who've got behavioral issues. I have a son who's gone to prison for the rest of his life. And I have a son who's depressed. And I have a daughter who breaks out every time she takes a shower. And I'm just sick of the water crisis.
Okay, as we...
Where was she at?
Okay, so that concludes our program for the day. Thank you so much. You all... So thank you so much for your attendance and everything. We're going to let Bishop give a prayer, and then we're going to close out with City of Lead. And let's play City of Lead before we have our closing prayer. Because that video is like a national anthem of the water crisis. And it was produced,
tonight at 8 o'clock at the People's Church.
And filmed by our local talent, and it stands as a testament today. So we're going to play City of Lead, then we're going to let Bishop close us out with prayer.
And doing this for fun. Washing my face and hands with nothing but bottled water and wipes. To save a buck sliders, administration room with the pipes. And now we're fighting for our lives and asking who can we trust. Problems about us, these politicians, they ain't trying to discuss. And then they wonder why we rarely vote. I'm keeping it real. If you're not from Flint, then you could never understand how we feel. Rachel Battle broke the story, now it's worldwide news. I wish the governor could walk a couple blocks in my shoes, so he could witness all this poverty and crime that exists, and all this hatred and racism we've been fighting against. City of Lead.
Children's blood tests revealed high exposure to lead. So how did Flint's water supply become contaminated? To save money,
Barack Obama drank the water trying to put his head ease, while our people were still dying from Legionnaire's disease. And not one pipe has been replaced and not one hole has been dug, because they trying to sweep the water crisis under the rug. And thanks to Dr. Mona Hanna for exposing the biz on how contaminated water been affecting our kids. And only God can judge Rick Snyder for this urban disaster. They ought to treat them the same way they treated Kwame Kilpatrick. Plus when I think about the kids, it brings a tear to my eye. The EPA just stood by and left us out here to die. Phony celebrities keep coming claiming that they support us, but we need money in Flint and not just some cases of water. City of Lead.
Residents have been subjected to drinking water with elevated levels of lead. Complaints to authorities fell on deaf ears. In addition to the presidential meeting today, 2 class action lawsuits are being filed today, blaming high-level government officials for the toxic water. On the list of people being sued, Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, a Republican who acknowledged in an interview that the Flint water crisis is his Hurricane Katrina.
God save our city.
Absolutely.
Never surrender. Never forget. Never surrender. Never forget. Never surrender.
Do you mind if I just announce that documentary? And I just want folks to know tonight at 8 o'clock, I know it's a little late, but if you can make it out to the People's Church, we'll be premiering a documentary about the 10-year anniversary. I think you need to know this was not about saving money. It was about making money. This was a major cover-up and fraud, and we will have the premiere of our documentary, Flint Fatigue, that a lot of the residents here are actually in. So that's at 8 o'clock tonight at the People's Church. If you cannot make it tonight, it'll premiere Sunday on our website, flintfatigue.com. That's flintfatigue.com. Thanks. All right, so I believe this has ended for the day, but I do want to speak with some residents.
We started with a prayer and we ended with a prayer. We got a lot of things going on this week. We need you to show up. No man is an island. We can't do it by ourselves. We can speak up and speak out, but if you don't show up, they say, where the people are? Who you speaking for? So we need you. We need your support. So, Father, we thank you for your goodness and your mercy. We thank you for this day. We thank you that we are commemorating and that you have been with us. You never left us alone. We put our trust and our confidence and our faith in you. We thank you for strength. We thank you for wisdom. We thank you for knowledge. We thank you for doors that you've opened up and ways that you made. Even in the midst of the storm, you've been right there. And so, Father, we give you glory, honor, and praise. We thank you for those that are here, that are traveling near and far. We pray for those that weren't able to come. And we pray for those that have went on to meet you. We will never forget. And we thank you that you never forgot us. We continue to put our trust, our love, and our confidence in you. In the matchless name of the one that I serve. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. We do have little refreshments back at the people church. Back at the church. So join us.
Can I talk to you quick, Bishop?
If I can sit in my seat.
Of course.
Could I just
Yeah, sure.
info so I can promote your
Absolutely.
Hey, how you doing there? Good to see you. All the way
Can you give her hold on.
Yeah.
Just talk to the audience.
All right, guys. You got John here behind the camera. Hope everyone's doing well. Jordan's just passing along some information. If you haven't done so, please smash the like button, share the stream. We'll be cutting up the clips and posting them separately. So we are all very excited for the premiere tonight of the documentary, and then Sunday, the 28th, it will be on the website, like Jordan said, flintfatigue.com. Also, Colin did send me readouts, so let me try and get to that now while Jordan is doing that.
Now y'all can go home. All right. Now y'all can leave. Y'all have my permission.
All right, so we got some super chats. So smart, so stupid. $4.99. 95 billion for genocide and a proxy war, but no clean water for citizens. Absolutely. There's always money for war, but never for the people. New members, OJ Snyder. New YouTube member. So smart, so stupid, gifted 1 Status Coup news membership. And we got some donations, $50 from Barbara. I follow you and I share your reporting on X, formerly Twitter. I can't do the monthly, but I want to contribute as I can to help your mission to report these incredible stories that absolutely no one in the country is aware of due to the suppression by the mainstream media. My handle on X is Brooklyn Girl. Thanks for all you do, and try to stay safe while I'm visiting these toxic places. Thank you, Barbara. And we got 200 from Cynthia. Independent investigative journalism gives me hope. May the force be with you. Thank you.
Tomorrow. So, want to come over and talk to some water warriors here. I'm Delighted to show you Bishop Jefferson, who's a faith leader here. I think I interviewed you back in 2016, actually, in your church. Yeah. And something you said, really stood out to me. You said we got to take our power back.
That's it.
Because this all started with your power being taken away through unelected emergency managers.
That's right. It started in 2011 when they came up with the Emergency Public Act 4. And we got petitions signed. We needed 152,000 signatures in order to get it on the ballot. And we got 215,000 signatures from all over Michigan because the Public Act 4, which is the Emergency Manager Act, affect Michigan, not just Flint. We were one of the hardest hit because of the water crisis. And we voted in November 2011 to repeal Public Act 4, and it was voted unanimously to repeal it. And that was November the 6th, to be exact, because it was my birthday. And in December, less than 30 days later, they came up with a lame duck session and came up with Public Act 436, which just tweeted a few words, and it still had the same law. And so Rick Snyder wanted to be the head cheese in charge, and it was one person. And they would put emergency managers. And matter of fact, when they were going to bring the emergency manager in Flint, Michigan, I asked them what was their plan. They didn't have a plan. I said, well, if you don't have no plan, why we can't manage our own finances? And there's not one place where the emergency manager came in and made it better. They left them worse. Detroit, Flint, Benton Harbor, Pontiac, wherever they had emergency manager, that dictatorship, they sold off all the assets. And when they sold off our assets, I went in December 2012 to tell them, let us run our own city. After they had gave away. They sold stuff for $1 or gave it away.
Tried to privatize it too.
Privatize it, yes. And after they gave away and sold off all our assets, and then they told us, and I said, you have to have assets you have to have finance to run your household. You give away everything that's bringing us money, what do you think? They even gave away to Santa Claus. So, everything. Atwood Stadium, it's been in our community for years. As a child, I went to football games. Our schools played there. And they took it and gave it to Kettering. Then they redone it. If they could redo it after they gave it to Kettering, why they couldn't redo it? They gave away the service center, and then we still paid the heating bill. Do that make sense at all?
What's amazing to me about all this is we see so many other communities, whether it's water problems, air problems, soil, schools, but I've always kept covering this because I believe if government could get away with poisoning the people in Flint, then politicians elsewhere are just going to use the same exact playbook. You guys are going to have events with other communities, but why should people know that what's going on still in Flint affects them? Why should people know that it's not just about Flint, it's about all communities? Because
what affects me affects you. And like you said, if the government find that they can do it to us, then they're going to do it. And not only did they do it to us, but they did it and got away with it. They got away with it and everything. So therefore, nobody is held accountable. So if I can throw a rock, break a window, tear the house down, and it don't matter, then so what? And they think we're vulnerable. They think that don't nobody care, but I care about my city. I care about my state. I care about the people here. And I have not, let me clarify this. I have not been silent. And the reason why the water crisis was exposed was because the grassroots organization. It wasn't the people in office that exposed who they was. It was the grassroots, democracy, defense, caution, water. What are you fighting for? We are the ones that exposed what was going on and what they did. Not the mayor, not the city council, not the county commissioner, not the governor. We did it. And we showed up and we told the people not to drink the water. We helped them buy water. And we supplied places where they could come get bottled water. More than one case at a time.
Can I ask you, the media doesn't really cover Flint that much anymore, so I want to make sure people know the still crisis. Cancer rates are very, very high here. Specific cancers are through the roof, and sadly you have teenagers who were young kids when this happened. Now there's a lot of teens taking their own lives.
Should be graduating, they not graduating. And the youngest suicide victim, five years old. At 5 years old, what do you know about living? What do you know about taking your life? Please tell me. Please tell me. And there's been teenagers that are continue to commit suicide this year. And nobody's paying no attention to it. We talk about the effects of lead. It affects your brain. It affects your mentality. And I know my grandson is 18 now. That was affected badly by lead. And if he hadn't had such a vast support system, constantly, you can do it. It's going to be all right. You can do it. You just have to work a little harder. You can do it. Even he was supposed to graduate last year, and he hasn't graduated yet. But he gonna graduate, because I keep telling him, you can do it. And I don't care how long it take. I want my diploma. And he said, Granny, I'm working on it.
So as far as working freelance for this, I've been doing it for about a year.
And he's not the only one. It's just more personal to me because it's my grandchild. But it's happened to so many more, and I figure if I can expose it about him, it will help somebody else.
And what's your message to the federal government, who the EPA claims the water here is safe now? The city says the water's safe. They say that Flint is in a recovery, and now it's about rebuilding trust. What's your message to President Biden and all the senators and all the politicians and all the media who say this is from the past, it's not still a crisis? I think the message is on your face.
Trust is earned. And if you haven't fixed the problem, how is it fixed? If you haven't replaced the pipes, how is it fixed? If you haven't changed the system, how is it fixed? I mean, it's evident. It's evident. You haven't done what you got the money. But everything and everybody else was more important. And so you have not fixed the pipes.
You know, I'm not a religious man, but talking to you might make me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bishop. That's Bishop Bernadelle Jefferson. She's in our documentary that we're premiering tonight. See if I can talk to some others. Hey, Claire, can I talk to you for a minute? This is Claire McClinton, one of the...
Let me get this.
Sure. So these are the type of emotional stories that you'll get if you actually care to come and stay on these important stories. Teens killing them. 5-year-old committed suicide here. A 5-year-old.
All right.
This is Claire McClinton. She is, even before the water crisis, was a warrior here, longtime activist. And I talked to you last year at the 9-year anniversary, 10 years you put this together today. I think,
me and some other great community people.
yeah, and you helped co-found Democracy Defense.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, last year you said in some ways it's even worse than it was in 2016. Has anything changed since we spoke last year?
No, it hasn't. And what I said last year, I'm saying this year. The 10 years, looking back, is in a way it's worse because when this started, you anticipated that your government would step in and do the right thing and take care of the people. Now, we know our government is, we have to stay on them and stuff, but we never could imagine that they would turn their back on this city like they have done. And like I say, that December was a Merry Christmas, case of slam closed. And talking about it's probably nothing we can do, that's the end. And then had the nerve to try to blame the Supreme Court and make Dana Nessel, you blame the Supreme Court and you tried to make yourself a victim. We're the victims. Don't blame the Supreme Court and look and act like you was mistreated by the Supreme Court. You were either incompetent or treacherous, and we don't know which, but we're not going to accept either way.
It's really important what you're saying because you hear so much from politicians and even the media. No one is above the law, and we won't have two systems of justice. Mm-hmm. But frankly, a bunch of wealthy white people like Governor Snyder, who had plenty of money paid for by the taxpayers, by the way. You guys paid for his legal bills. It seems that there is two systems of justice if they could poison a city and 10 years later they're still free.
Yes, and that double standard goes not only to the loss of justice, no one held accountable, but it goes to other things. The double standard goes to the reason why we pay among the highest water rates in the country, because we're paying bondholders. And since this whole unfortunate event came about, the city of Flint has not missed one bond payment after that was agreed to. They haven't missed a payment to the bond market. But right now we're hearing on the grapevine there might be a effort afoot to raise the water rates. You shut people's water off, they lose their home. How you gonna make that money back? You putting your water fund in a deficit because you don't want to work with people. And as it relates to water, and so many testified to it today, as it relates to water, it shouldn't even be a cost. It should not be a cost that someone can't have access to it, even if some people have it for free. We're not against paying our bills and everything, but it's exorbitant. I don't want to pay 1 penny of my water bill to the bond market on Wall Street. But that's who we paying.
And also, to this day, I still talk to residents who tell me they get rashes. I still talk to residents who tell me their hair is falling out in the shower. I still talk to residents who tell me their water smells in some places. And the pipes have not been replaced across the city. There's still pipes that need to be replaced. They haven't replaced your home pipes.
Yes.
So it's basically, they're saying it's fine, but how could it be fine if they haven't changed the busted, corroded pipes?
Well, it's like we said last year, our theme was unfinished business, and it could have been the theme this time. And when you talk about the double standard, we're also talking about, and even some of the politicians have said, and it's true, if this had happened anywhere else in a suburban, predominantly white community, this issue would have been fixed. It would have been fixed. But
actually, some suburban white communities, after this happened, changed their pipes even without a problem.
Yes, but I'm glad you said that, because even though we're facing so many challenges here in the city of Flint, we have to pat ourselves on the back for getting out here, beating the drum to make the toxic water problem on the map. We busted through the media. We went through the lies and falsehoods perpetrated by the Snyder administration in what was then the MDEQ, that they tried to lie their way out the problem. We, as the water warriors in a broader sense of the word, many of them around the community, we busted through that media, and as a result, communities across this country are looking at their water, and there's been a tremendous change in the Parts Pavilion on the lead situation. We can claim victory for that. And recently, I was told that the Flint situation inspired this big infrastructure bill that's coming out right now. So we have to give Flint some credit, but we just a fighting city that we're not going to put up with it. And as we've said before in other interviews, they poisoned the wrong city. They poisoned the wrong. Flint, the one that took down General Motors, the one that had voters voted for open housing. You poisoned that city. Y'all made a mistake.
And my last question, as you know, there's so many other communities that have water problems, air pollution, so many environmental issues. What's your message to them? Maybe, it's early on in their situation. Maybe it's just starting first year or two, and their government's telling them everything's fine. Their media's not covering it. What's your message to other people dealing with similar things?
The message to them is the same message we got to ourselves. This is election year. Take your grievances to all them people that say they want to represent you, from the White House all the way down. I don't care if it's dog catcher. Pull together as a community, get organized, and take your grievances to these people who claim they want to speak for you. This is the time for them to escalate their concerns.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you.
Can I talk to you?
For me?
Yeah, come on down. And what's your name again?
Georgia Brandy II.
Hey, Jordan. I heard you talking, and you were saying something that a lot of people I've spoken with say, we shouldn't have to still be marching. Why are we still marching? It just seems to me that between the media and the politicians, they just wanted to sweep this thing under the rug.
So what you want me to respond to on that?
Your thoughts on that?
So it's hypocrisy. Yeah, I'm good. I got my bike. So it's hypocrisy. So socially economic disadvantaged people, because we can't just say it's a black thing. Can't say it's a white thing. It's an economic class thing, in my opinion. And it also is like a foot on the neck of what created the middle class. It's like those that are in a certain power structure, that are legacy money, that are corporate oligarchs. They want to see a place like Flint die, because this is the mother of the unions. This is the home of the Industrial Revolution.
Home of the sit-down strike.
Home of the sit-down strike. But also, when you think about this, is the Silicon Valley of the industrial age. So General Motors was founded here. The UAW, you remember Ted Koppel and Peter Jennings? Anytime I would hear them talk about the world shutting down, it was the local 599 or some local from Flint, Michigan was shutting the world down in order for people to have better equality when it comes to their work, with the work ethics and with the quality work that they were given. So to me, it's just the destruction of, or the finalization of the destruction of a certain mentality that this country has had. And we just happen to be here and alive during this time. And also, when you think about a military way of destroying a system, you do it with the economics, you do it with the water resources, you do it with the food. You take all the logistical things out in order to get people to move away, in order to get people to die off, in order to get people to become drawn away from wanting to fight or being strong. And
I just want to say, since the water switch, the population here has gone down by 20,000.
It's dwindled very much so. You know, and the white flight didn't do it all. So what else had to happen in order to be able to change the mentality and change the direction and to truly gentrify a community like this? You have to take military structures or tactics in order to restructure what you want. That's my opinion. But it feels like that. It feels like something that goes on to other places, and it's just happening here in our country, in Flint, Michigan, one of the greatest cities ever created in this country. Right. Because it is the reason why we have a middle class. We are the big brother. We are the big homie. We are the mother. Detroit didn't start General Motors. They just prospered even more. Pontiac didn't do it. Saginaw didn't do it. You know, Grand Rapids, none of those places. Flint, Michigan. So when you deny and you ignore and you say that, well, it's those people over there, guess what's going to happen to you next? Whatever you think is strong and keeps you uplifted, it's going to be destroyed the same way. Because cancer doesn't pick and choose. Cancer just grows and it spreads and it kills. And this is a cancer. And this water cancer, it was in Lansing. It's in Benton Harbor. It's in multiple places. It's in Mississippi. There's so many places. So this cancer is spreading all over the place. And since we couldn't get it controlled here and get some kind of resolution here, what do you think it's going to do in other places? Look, what did Mississippi do? Not only do they have a water issue, but they also brought back Jim Crow. How much common sense does that make? Doesn't make any common sense. And on top of everything else that we're dealing with when we go into globalizing the construct, we're dealing with so many different things on each structure when it comes to what I consider World War III, when it comes to technology, such as like your TikToks and all these different Instagrams and social media things where we're getting so much information that our youth don't even know what to believe or think or have anything a collective thought to follow. Right. They're scatterbrained. Yeah. We have border issues, and we have a place like Texas considering again whether or not they want to be a part of the union. Why is that even a conversation? Why are we at this point where nothing is united? And then a place like Flint, where the union was the strongest thing we had, we barely have that. 10 years fighting for something as simplistic as water. That shows me, if it doesn't show anybody else, how far our country has fallen when it comes to what we plan on, what our goals are, what we want to do, how we want to help. Because money is only going to take care of so much stuff. But the collective thought and unity, that's the other part of it. Right. So I'll keep going. I'll rattle on forever.
My last question, you know, obviously Flint has become, there's a lot of Flints now. Not the same exact thing, but so many other.
I'm good. Claire, I don't know where she went.
So many other communities. We cover a lot of other situations between the water, the air, the soil, the government claiming everything's fine. Our testing shows it's fine, but people are getting cancers and all sorts of things. Just yesterday, I was in East Palestine, Ohio. They had the train detonation. Right. An 18-year-old girl's been having seizures. She was perfectly healthy before, and essentially, it seems to be the same pattern where the government says everything's fine, the media stops covering it, and people are kind of left. What's your message to people, how they could fight back? What's the best way to fight back?
We take the stair-step effect to it, to where you first vocalize it, then you put pen to paper and get different laws and things changed or put into place, legislation and stuff like that. Once you do all those things, then you protest with pressure. You create an environment where every politician that you're speaking to, you go to their homes every day. You create a situation to where they're uncomfortable every day that they wake up. If they don't get that, then things have to progress so people understand that we don't work for them. That even though ALEC is a thing and corporations can put all kinds of hundreds of millions of dollars into ALEC and have a seat on Congress, that thing right there can just dissipate. Certain things shouldn't be for sale. Certain things shouldn't be for sale. And the human spirit, especially the American human spirit, should not be for sale. And we have to fight tooth and nail, whatever the cost, in order to make things right for the future. We won't last very long as a country if we allow these things to keep on taking away the liberties and the rights and the things that we already have. When you have corporations being able to have a vote, what does that do to people? It takes away your rights on other things, and then it turns into acceptable laws. To where okay, it's just this one young lady that or a couple of them, or maybe 500 out of 15,000 that are getting sick. That's acceptable loss. We don't worry about that. Okay, Flint has a water issue. That's 100,000 people out of 600,000 people in the county. Well, that's an acceptable loss because we're trying to turn into a 15-minute community anyway. So this is just going to help our agenda. Who are the people that are benefiting from this? Who owns the diamond mines, and who owns the oil wells in Africa and other countries to do these things? Corporations, old money, people that have legacy wealth that don't understand or know what it feels like or means to pay a rent, to pay a mortgage, to pay anything that is average. They don't know what a gallon of milk costs, or what eggs cost, or what butter costs. They don't understand that. They just have a convenience. They have a sense of empathy, but those empathies are misguided based on the bottom line. And the bottom line has to change because it has to be combined with the community efforts and with the community growing along with what it is your bottom line is. So I don't know if I'm making sense right now. I know I'm making sense. I don't know if I'm going in the direction that you want to.
You're making plenty of sense.
So we have to fight in a stair-step manner. It's just like if your first offense, you may not go straight to jail. You might get a slap on the hand and get told to get it right. So we've already slapped them on the hand for 9-10 years. The slap on the hand has happened. Like, get it right, get it right, get it right. How many? We have to step up. At some point, somebody has to be prosecuted. At some point, somebody has to go to jail. At some point, somebody has to be in the electric chair. And I'm using those terms because that's the system in which we have when it comes to law. If that doesn't happen in every aspect, Flint has been known, and it has been said that it's a city that the political people don't go to jail. They don't have any prosecution, from the judges to the politicians. They don't have to worry about anything because it's such a small and tight-knitted situation to where everybody, like, we know what's going on over here. We know what's going on. As long as we stick together, then ignore everybody else. The hidden hand, the things that people don't really understand what they're fighting, because all those things have to be considered. Multiple things can be true at the same time. And because for me, Flint is such a layered place because of its origins, even going back before General Motors and things like that. The foundation of Flint, where it was a trading post and a fur post and so on and such, and the different conversations that had to happen with the natives here in order for it to become founded. So it's a lot behind the whole origins of Flint and the corporate structure of it, because General Motors was the most powerful corporation on the planet at one point in time. I think that the certain laws on the books create certain protections or certain grandfather clauses to where people in certain positions don't worry about stuff because they're covered. Right. We just got a state park. The state hasn't been involved in Flint forever. So now they are. So that means that certain things have changed. Now more things have to change, and people have to be in the same fear as the average person of their consequences of the things that you do. So until that happens, I'm of the belief that the comfort that you give me is the comfort I'll give you. So if I'm uncomfortable and you poison my water, I am of my right to poison your water. And if I end up being the one going to jail, that's just me. But you're still going to be poisoned. Right. If you take my life or take my child's life, then your child and your life has to be taken. So I really most definitely believe in tit for tat. I don't want that to be so, because I believe in peace also, but I believe in taking the head off of the snake. Right. If the snake won't get right. Period. Point blank. And it's not just me that believes that, but we just sit in the shadows because people, if we're going to be the only ones if people don't have the energy and effort to do for self and want to fight, then why am I going to sacrifice my freedoms and the little that I do have for people that's not going to appreciate the actions that's taken? It doesn't make any sense. And it still has to make sense, even though it may be an extreme thought. It has to make sense on the back end of it. If I'm going to sit down for 20 years, it has to make sense because the people have to thrive afterwards. But if I make an action And you're not, and all it's going to be is just me making a foolish action to you, but not something to open the door for reform or for some differences or some changes, then it's pointless. People don't, in a lot of senses, people don't want change because they're scared of it. They're used to they're used to talking. They're used to being comfortably uncomfortable and being the frog in the boiling pot. I was in the Marine Corps and I was in Afghanistan. So life and death is a real thing, and consequences to actions are a real thing. When you get back to the reality of being a civilian, it makes no sense sometimes, because there's no consequence to the actions that people take, and it's disheartening because you shouldn't have to take extreme measures for things to change.
Yeah, especially for water.
Especially for water. I went to Standing Rock with Art Woodson when they asked for veterans to show up, and during that time, they said they were in conversation and talking and working things out, because I guess they didn't realize that it was going to be so many veterans showing up. When they said that they were not going to, when I saw people, American citizens, native citizens, being violated the way that they were, in the weather conditions that they were, it did something to me. I didn't plan on coming back. So when I say what I'm saying, I understand the consequences. It's just, if I'm going to take those kind of actions, it needs to make sense. Right. And, you know, I'll always do it in a proxy, but action sometimes needs to happen, because I know I'm just babbling on now. It's a lot that I would like to say, but I'm trying to keep myself from saying too much before, as soon as you put this on the air, and then
we're live, so
then I'll get a knock from one of the 3-letter people, and hey, what's going on?
What's your name again?
George F. Grundy II.
Thank you, man. Yep. I appreciate it.
Organization Veterans Are Now. Veterans Are Now has been around since 2015. We serviced over 10,000 residents in the city of Flint, and I love my community. I love my state. I love my country. But some of y'all need your heads knocked off.
Thank you very much. Right, appreciate it. So as usual, we're closing this thing out. We're the last one standing. Everyone's left. Not the name drop, but Aaron Brockovich just called me. No big deal. I thought the thing that kept making noise was coming from your camera, but it's the parking. Unbelievable. I'm like, who the fuck is making this noise that sounds like an animated fucking dwarf? So there's so much I could say, but I'm just going to kind of simplify it. This day is not about me. It's about the people here, but it does kind of, it makes you scratch your head sometimes. It makes you really have to wonder, forget as a journalist, which I'm a journalist, but I'm a human being first. I've been here, this is my 21st trip to Flint, if you'll believe that. I've been here 21 times since 2016. I've been staying on this for 8 years. I have been here on holidays. I've been here more times than I could count, really. I've lost friends of mine who became friends because I've interviewed them so many times, or I've, after interviews, gone out with them to get a meal or a beer, Flint residents. And something he said really stood out to me. We live in this society that you're just flooded all the time with information and content and stimulation, whether it's TikTok or Twitter or YouTube, right now, how I'm talking to you, you know, and podcasts, and I mean, there's so many other things that I'm probably forgetting. We're all just consumed nonstop by information and events and crises. I mean, I literally just looked down at my phone and I got a tweet about protesters at a pro-Palestine protest somewhere on campus are in a clash with police. And it's so hard to keep our minds focused on any one thing because we just have nonstop more things coming at us. And I think in a way, technology has been great, but technology also distracts us. Technology also makes us forget sometimes. Actually, technology makes us forget all the time. There used to be 3 shows. There used to be 3 networks. There's no such thing as podcasts or social media. I'm sorry if I'm sounding like a grandpa, but the point I'm making is maybe 20 years ago, you wouldn't be able to forget that an American city was poisoned, not 50 years ago, 10 years ago today. That wouldn't be able to just get swept under the rug. But now people become numb to things. You know, I remember it literally yesterday. We were in East Palestine, Ohio, and we'll be releasing those videos. And they're going through their version of Flint with the railroad blowing up the trains, chemically nuking the trains. And I was interviewing a grandma, and she complimented us on our work on Flint and that we've kept covering this. And she said to me, I just thought it was fixed because I stopped hearing about it. Let me repeat. She said, I just thought it was fixed because I stopped hearing about it. That's why this is fucking important. I don't care if I don't care if we're live to 100 million people or 100 people. I prefer 100 million people, obviously. And obviously we're not live to that many people for a lot of reasons. Most of them due to Google and YouTube. But there's a sickness in society if essentially genocide, this is a genocide. It's a slower moving genocide than bombs or drones or missiles killing 35,000 Palestinians in 6 months. But make no mistake, when you poison people and they slowly die and you leave them to slowly die with no justice, with no free health care, you don't replace the pipes. In 10 years, they have not replaced all of the pipes in this city. In the streets, they haven't replaced the pipes. In the homes, they haven't replaced the pipes. They've only replaced the pipes from the curb into the home, and they haven't even replaced all of those pipes. That is a genocide. And it's a quieter version. That's what happened in Love Canal, where they buried it for so long. I get people reaching out to me who lived in the Gulf with the BP oil spill that are sick. When's the last time you heard the media talk about the BP oil spill? I mean, we could go down the list. I fully admit, there's probably thousands of communities with water issues, air issues, soil issues that I have never heard of. But there's a sickness in society if people are just, if our system, our government and our media essentially make genocides disappear, make poisonings disappear, normalize genocide, normalize environmental genocide. That's what this is. They have normalized poisoning people, covering it up, spending millions on public relations and marketing to pretend it's a recovery, and the water's fine now. It's just about building trust, rebuilding trust. The water's not fine. And as you'll find out in our documentary, which comes out on Sunday online, you'll be able to watch it online on flintfatigue.com. Cancer is through the roof here. Cancer is through the roof. Certain cancers are up 300 to 500%. Not a thing is being done about it. The state health department is trying to cover that up too. The same health department that covered up the water was toxic in the first place. And all the politicians that did not warn these people, did not notify them that their water was toxic, they right now are out enjoying their lives. They are free. This is why I continue to cover it 10 years later, and I'll probably be here 10 years from now. God willing, something will be different. But probably not. The only thing I can say, the only thing left to say is I truly believe, I've been going around the country for the last 8 years. I've covered a lot of things, water, fights against pipelines, the indigenous-led fight in North Dakota at Standing Rock. I've covered worker exploitation. I've covered union drives. I've covered worker strikes. I've covered poverty. I've covered homelessness. I mean, I covered a lot of things. And I truly believe that based on my experience and thousands of people I've met, thousands of people I've interviewed or talked to off camera, I don't care if you're a tree-hugging communist. I don't care if you're a rock-ribbed, steak-eating, Trump-loving conservative. I don't care if you're a anarchist, down with the government, burn it down. I don't care what you are. If you're a Hillary Clinton-loving neoliberal, if you are a politically agnostic and don't give a shit, whatever you are, whatever label, whatever philosophy, I truly believe, based on what I've seen, that most people, not all people, but most people, are not lacking compassion. Most people do care if they know about things like this. Most people have no fucking idea what is going on all around them. How is it that in one state over from here, Ohio, I spoke with a woman yesterday who told me, I thought Flint was fixed because I never hear about it. How does that happen in America with all the information we have, that people just assume it's fixed because they don't see it? People right now probably believe East Palestine is fixed because they haven't heard about that in 6 months, because the media is too busy covering the polls. The media is too busy covering the threat to democracy of Trump. What democracy? The media is literally covering 24/7 right now a trial about Trump paying off a porn star. The media is literally fixated on an election 3 years before the election is even held. Our election coverage now begins 2.5 to 3 years before the election. CNN is a multi-billion-dollar company. There is no one from CNN here today. NBC is owned by Comcast, a multi-billion-dollar company. There's no one here. They haven't been here. The Detroit News, which is one of the biggest media outlets in Michigan. Do you know what they published today? This is not The Onion. What I'm telling you is true. They literally published an opinion story, an opinion piece, on the 10th anniversary of the Flint water crisis, written by former Governor Rick Snyder. Let me repeat. The Detroit News published an op-ed from the governor who, based on my reporting, was the quarterback of the poisoning of this community. They published his op-ed, not about Flint, about restoring tax cuts for wealthy people. That's a Michigan outlet that did that. The Detroit News, the Detroit Free Press, the Flint Journal, they will not investigate Flint. They won't report on the details of the biggest government cover-up of the 21st century. My book is coming out this summer. I'm not trying to promote myself, but my book is called We the Poisoned. It comes out in August. We the Poisoned, exposing the Flint water crisis cover-up and the poisoning of 100,000 Americans. I believe, and I have shown it to people that I trust their judgment, the Flint water cover-up makes Watergate look like a walk in the park. No one died from Watergate. The Flint water cover-up makes name your government cover-up look like child's play. Look like kumbaya. And most Americans and most people in Flint don't know the details of it because the media exists to cover it up. The stories that were published today on the 10-year anniversary are not about the cover-up. They're not about the fact that residents here don't have universal free health care. They're not about teens committing suicide. There's an increase in teen suicide here. They're not about the state attorney general sabotaging the criminal investigation. They're about the schools. They're about very vague, vanilla things. About regaining trust. Do you know how many times I have brought to the Detroit Free Press, the Detroit News, the Flint Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Daily Beast, the Associated Press, Reuters, ProPublica, Mother Jones, BuzzFeed News? I could write a whole book just on the media. I have brought them, not my opinion, facts, documents from the criminal investigation, confidential information about the cover-up. They either did not respond or they came up with some bullshit excuse not to do it. I could go on for days. I will leave you with this, and I've said that 3 times now. I don't want to lie to you. I don't have a lot of hope about this story. I don't have a lot of hope that this will be fixed. I don't have a lot of hope that anyone will go to prison. I don't have a lot of hope that this community will be made whole, because you really can't be made whole. There's permanent damage in people's brains. There's permanent damage in people's organs. People have lost loved ones. There's a lot of people that I know would have been here today, but they're dead. Not at 90, at 40, at 50, at 60. But even if I can't put people in jail, even if I can't fix this for anyone, what I can do is, at the very least, expose what was done to these people, the details, the who, what, when, why, keyword, why it was done. Because if people know the details here, maybe it could help them fight it elsewhere. Because there's a lot of Flints. There's a lot of communities suffering right now, whether it's the water, the air, the soil, fracking, coal mining, plastics, diesel fuel found in water, arsenic in water. And if I expose it here, maybe they will be better equipped to fight it there. So please, please, if you can, I know we don't have a huge audience, we'll cut these clips up. Please, I know there's a lot going on right now between the college campuses and the protests and the Trump trials, and the Supreme Court is hearing Trump's bullshit argument today about presidential immunity. I know there's a lot going on. The NFL draft is tonight. Please, please do not forget, we cannot become numb just because 10 years has passed. We cannot become numb to communities being poisoned. We cannot allow it to be normalized. We cannot allow it to be normalized that politicians can knowingly poison communities and get away with it. We cannot allow it to become normalized that people are poisoned and don't get free health care. We cannot allow it to become normalized that people are poisoned 10 years ago and still don't have clean water, still don't have their pipes replaced. So I will keep screaming to the rooftops about it as long as I got air in my lungs, blood in my body, and you pay for me to keep coming here. Because I can't afford this on my own. Please support us if you can. StatusCoup.com/join. 16 cents a day. That's all I'm asking for. 16 cents a day. Because CNN is not going to be here. MSNBC is not going to be here. Fox is not going to be here. Most of the local media don't even show up to events anymore. They're only here for anniversaries. They don't even come to protests. And frankly, if we're being real, Most of independent media ignores these things too. Fortunately, one outlet, Breaking Points, posts our content from time to time, and our documentary, Flint Fatigue, will premiere Sunday, both on our website, flintfatigue.com, and on Breaking Point's YouTube channel. We're premiering that documentary tonight at 8 o'clock in Flint. So if you live in Flint, or if you live nearby, come out tonight, 8 o'clock at the People's Church. I think it's 503 Garland Avenue, if I'm correct. 503 Garland Street or Garland Avenue, but you could look it up. It's called the People's Church in Flint. Please support us, statuscoup.com/join. It costs money to keep coming back to Flint. We were just in East Palestine. We want to keep covering these kinds of stories. We want to go cover news stories. I'd love to hire more people. I'm getting old, folks. My back hurts. I can't do this on my own. I want to hire more people. John can't be our only camera guy either. He needs a break once in a while. If you're already a member, donate. statuscoup.com/donate. I saw a $200 donation yesterday. Thank you. Thank you. Before I go, let me read if I missed anyone. Thank you, Smart So Stupid, $4.99, $95 billion for genocide and proxy war, but no clean water. New Status Coup member, O.J. Snyder, thank you. S.O. Smart So Stupid, gifted one membership, thank you. Barbara, $50 donation at statuscoup.com/donate. I follow you and share your reporting on Twitter. I can't do the monthly, but want to contribute as I can to help your mission to report these incredible stories that absolutely no one in the country is aware of due to the suppression by the mainstream media. My handle on X is Brooklyn Girl. Thank you for all you do, and try to stay safe when visiting these toxic places. Barbara. $200 donation from Cynthia yesterday. Thank you so much. Independent investigative journalism gives me hope. May the force be with you. Cynthia, former journalist, granny of 5. What a bloody mess my generation has left. Yes, you have. Not you, but your generation has. Thank you for the donation. $5 from Barbara. Thank you. Listen, I love the larger donations because it really helps us cover these costs. But even if you could only donate $5, I appreciate that as well. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I'm sorry if I missed any super chats. Thank you for watching. I think there's more events going on tonight. We got to do some last minute things for the documentary, so I'm not sure if we'll be live tonight. We're not going to be live for the documentary because it's just an in-person event. I wanted to show it just for Flint residents first. So again, that will be at 8 o'clock tonight at the People's Church, which, let me just look so I'm giving you the right information. Yeah, it's 503 Garland Street. So that's the People's Church. We'll be premiering the documentary Flint Fatigue at 8 o'clock tonight. I hear a lot of people who unfortunately got hooked into this whole nonsense narrative that this was about saving money. I think the documentary is going to show this was about making money. Unfortunately, greed poisoned these people. Another thing, please, 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 please. Sign up to our Substack, statuscoup.com, statuscoup.substack.com. Or Substack, I don't fucking know. Colin, put it in the chat. It's all a blur. Sign up for our Substack so you get alerts when we're live. You get alerts on other news that we're putting out there. And again, you can become a Status Coup member for 16 cents a day. That's what $5 a month comes down to. 16 cents a day. And as a member, you get exclusive behind the scenes content, including, if you are a Status Coup member, on our documentary website, flintfatigue.com, you will be able to watch the full interviews for the documentary. So obviously the documentary, we don't have all the full interviews in there. So some of the, I interviewed the former mayor. I interviewed a bunch of people. Members will be able to watch the full interviews, including behind-the-scenes content from the documentary, which includes me inadvertently hitting people in the face on Wall Street. So sign up, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.